Assalamualaikum and good day. Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. Welcome to our Occupational Safety and Health Forum. Today discussion will revolve around a critical often underestimated issue in industrial safety, chemical handling and personal protective equipment or PPE compliance in industrial settings. Handling hazardous chemical is a part of daily operation in many sectors, including manufacturing, automotive, food processing, pharmaceuticals, and even small-scale workshops. However, poor compliance and lack of proper training have led to numerous avoidable incidents and long-term health effects. Our objectives today are threefold: to identify the key challenge industries face in handling chemicals safely, to highlight the causes of PPE non-compliance, and to propose a practical solution supported by ISO standards and occupational safety and health or SH best practices. I'm joined today by my knowledgeable colleagues Ame and Bake, who will be sharing their research, observations, and recommendations. Let's start with the basics. Chemical classification and hazard communication. These are the foundation of chemical safety in the workplace. Without fair labeling and hazard identification, workers are left exposed to unseen dangers. The globally harmonized system GHS was introduced to standardize chemical classification and labeling intentionally. However, in many real-world settings, especially in small medium enterprise SMEs, implementation is still lacking. Ame, you look into this in detail. Could you share what you found?
Thank you, Azad. Yes, one of the most common and concerning issues I found is poor labeling practice. In many SMEs, chemical containers are not properly labeled. Some have faded labels, while others are reused bottles with all handwritten tags or worse, no labels at all. For instance, there was a documented case involving sodium hydroxide, which is highly corrosive. It was mistakenly stored in a water bottle without a label. Workers assumed it was a cheap cleaning solution. Tragically, two workers suffered severe chemical burns when they attempted to use it. This happened simply because basic GHS standards are not followed.
That's a powerful example, Amir. The lack of proper labeling is just one part of the bigger problem. Another issue is the underutilization of complete absence of safety data sheet or SDS. The sheets are supposed to provide detailed information for chemical properties to first aid measure, spill responses, and proper storage condition. But in practice, many industries fail to keep SDS updated or don't display them accessibly. Even when SDS are available, many workers aren't trained or on how to read or apply the information.
Exactly. And that highlights the gap between documentation and awareness. Even if the system are in place, they're ineffective without proper education and engagement. Let's transition now to another major concern: PPE selection and compliance. Baki, you research this area. What are the main issue you found on PPE usage in chemical environments?
Yes, certainly, Azad, personal protective equipment or PPE is often misunderstood. It's not just about the wearing gloves or goggle, it's about wearing the right type or PPE for the specific chemical hazard involved. Unfortunately, many companies take one size fits all approach. For example, general use latex gloves are handed out for all chemical tasks, including handling solvent. What most don't realize is that latex breaks down quickly when exposed to solvent. In such case, nitrile or neoprene gloves are more safer option.
Yes, and beyond that, comfort and practicality are major barriers to compliance. Workers often remove PPE like goggles or face shields because they fogged up, really tight or restrict movement. I've observed workers are mixing corrosive chemical without proper eyewear just because it gets in the way.
That's a common behavior, and while it might seem harmless, at the same time, it increased the risk tremendously. According to Osha data, over 40% of PPE-related injuries occurs because the equipment was either not worn, or was worn incorrectly. So it's not just about supply problem; it's a mindset and training problems. Some workers believe they can get used to it, or that PPE slows them down.
which tell us supplying PPE is not enough. What's needed is a safety culture where PPE usage is normalized, expected, and enforced, not just by management and also among peers. Let's look at this from a system level perspective. What can organization do to make safety more than just a checklist? Bakir, back at you.
Thank you, Azad. The first thing to understand is that PPE is the last line of defense. According to the hierarchy of controls, the best approach is always to eliminate the hazard or substitute with a less harmful chemicals, implement engineering controls such as a proper ventilation, trim hoods, and chemical isolation system. So apply administrative control like schedule safety training, job rotation, and safety SOPs. And finally, the PPE is as a protective barrier. Companies should adopt and align their practice with ISO 45001, which provides a comprehensive framework for managing occupational health and safety risks. ISO standard help organizations not just comply with legal obligation but also create a proactive and preventive safety culture. Yes.
That's a good point. I came across a manufacturing company that implemented a peer observation program. Workers were trained to gently remind each other about PPE compliance and report near misses. They also introduced weekly safety talks, shared real case studies, and gave incentive for 100% compliance. In just 3 months, their chemical related incident dropped by nearly 60%.
That's very encouraging. It shows that the behavioral changes is possible when the right support system are in place. And I like to emphasize that training should not be a one-time. During slideshow, during induction, it need to be interactive, engaging, and scenario-based, especially for environments that deals with volatile or reactive substances. To summarize today's discussion, highlighted highlighted several key points. Chemical safety begins with proper classification, labeling, and communication. PP compliance fails not due to lack of equipment but due to incorrect selection, poor comfort, and weak safety culture. Solutions lie in implementing the hierarchy of control ISO 45001 standards, regular training, and most importantly, fostering a culture of shared responsibility and proactive engagement.
And let's not forget, safety is not just the responsibility of the safety officer, it's the duty for every worker, every supervisor, and every manager in the organization. It requires leadership, teamwork, and daily practice.
Absolutely. Safety isn't just about ticking boxes or wearing gloves. It's about thinking ahead, looking out for one another, and constantly improving system. When safety becomes a habit, not just a rule, workplace become not only complaint but resilient.
Well said. On behalf of the entire group, We thank you for your attention and participation. We hope today's forum gave you a meaningful insights and practical tool to improve chemical handling and PPE compliance in your organizations. Let us play our part in ensuring that every worker returns home safely every day. Terima kasih, stay best, stay safe, and Assalamualaikum.